We talked about a couple things. Whatever, please let me know, call me, come out and see me, whatever you want. It is our cemetery, the city cemetery, so please, you don't want to live on all my ideas type thing. We will get more into the plan as you see it change from the it was the third cremation garden, it is now the fourth, because I had it created. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Number three, I just put on there, I want you to understand the new dump truck is in service. The street department did a wonderful job putting it together for me. Awesome. It turned out pretty good, I mean, money-wise and everything else, but they did a great job. So it is up and running and in the fleet. Number four, which you're going to hear more about this on, is Beaver Dam Tree Service. We have taken down, excuse me, I got to do the math, 14 trees already from damage and different stuff. He came last evening. I had a big tree hit by lightning and the center part was dead. So he trimmed that out for me. And then he is going to start climbing. We have a bunch of what they call widowmakers, dead limbs, and these trees are so huge, if you call them limbs, they're really trees, they're huge, to protect our walkers and visitors. He's going to climb. He can't get them all this year. I have money in the budget next year to continue. So you understand what we're spending this year is close to $16,000 on this to get this done. These trees are long overdue for, it's just growth is what it is, and it's time to take care of them. You hold your breath and nothing, so far, nobody's got hurt or anything has fallen on them or anything like this. So Beaver Dam does a beautiful job. I don't know if you've seen them, used them. They're not only tree service, but they are licensed climbers, so it's an all-one package.
Quick question on, if a branch comes down and hits a tombstone, whose responsibility is that?
Yeah.
To get the tombstone fixed?
What I was told a long time ago, back when we had tornadoes, and I don't quite understand this, they would say if there is a living heir, they are, the people, not the living heir, the people that own them, they can turn it into their homeowner's insurance.
Okay.
Didn't know that. I don't know how true, and nobody ever did.
Yeah.
If nobody owns them, they're on us, pretty much, or the reset, or whatever we can do. I have a couple broken that I haven't set in concrete to try to fix yet. When we had the big tornado, I had, I'm going to estimate close to 20 down. Didn't break any of them. Granite's pretty tough. If granite hits granite, she's going to break. If tops flip down or whatever, we reset most of them. Well, almost all. I had to have two. I had a monument company to two. They were too big for us to set, and had no damage. I think I had one tower damaged with a piece, not the whole unit.
Okay.
So we tend to eat some of it. When you say that, also damage, I have a above ground crypt that was way before me. Luckily it's 2 layers of brick, but the outside brick's starting to fall. So I'm going to have to invest some money in concrete and bricks, I think, and fix it.
Okay.
I don't think anything will be exposed because it's a double wall, but age is going to get us a lot of them to put money in for those. Now, like Mr. Siemens, they put $25,000 in perpetual care, which I can't touch that $25,000, just the interest, but it's currently in the 30s somewhere. So as long as that keeps building, if something happens to his, yeah, we had one other damage, which was really leaky, but the leaky family is still alive, and they were able to repair the roof. They had to reset the top and seal it. So, long answer to your question, but tell you story one. There's a big piece, and it was turned. What happens is when the compound comes out between the layers, water gets in there. So everybody knows that the big physics, when water freezes, it expands. Well, these stones that weigh thousands of pounds, you can sit there and do this. The wind will blow them. We can't physically move them when they're dry, but the wind will blow them. And this one had moved. And I thought, okay, it's in the old section. I'm going to have to get a crane. I don't know if my track hoe will do it. I got straps. I'm going to have to pick it up and move it. 2 days later, thank you, by the way, a gentleman shows up and says, when are you going to fix my family stone? Ooh, excuse me, your family? He goes, yeah. He goes, that's my family stone. I said, great, that's your responsibility. That's up to you to fix. It still isn't fixed now. I'm just telling you, but I just got burst his bubble. I'm like, oh, no, I don't own the storage. That's up to you. So I probably will still have to, it's okay. It's not in danger of falling. Sure. We go up max also, so, every year, I'm going to estimate minimum 2 weeks we go through and reset and stand, and some of the old stones are just in the ground.
Yeah.
And then also we have kids that come out to try to play heroes and knock them over and break some. So we go through and reset stones every year, usually. But your granite ones, your newer, the thicker ones, takes a lot. I had a tree, probably a limb, probably that big, and it literally split over the stone. Didn't want to move the stone at all.
Wow.
Yeah, so that granite, that's why you guys as board members allow granite. That's why we don't do a lot of stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what it is. We hope there's people around, but if not, we're not gonna.
Okay, thank you.
We're gonna straighten up best we can. So just remember Beaver Dam, in your budget that you approved for me, there was another 16,000 in there. I'm hoping not to use all. I'm trying to get as much done as I can right now. Anyway, they treat me very well. So you understand, it's a reduced price because all they have to do is drop. They dropped last night. My guys, it took them 2 hours and got it cleaned up. So we have the equipment once it's down, but it's just safer. There's so many stones that we would damage something with a piece of equipment or whatever. Okay, into new businesses, and no question. Here's the cremation garden. Cremation 2 is full. Has been. We sold the last one a week or so. With the one I was getting ready, I'm designing and wanting to start on, I can't do until the street department gets my asphalt in. I just can't. So I went out and looked, and Leanne and I talked, and what we did is, if you're familiar with the cemetery, as you're going to the Heart, or the Garden of Angels, for the baby land, there's all that land in front. I took the land to the right and made the third cremation garden, which is a little different style, and I might as well talk about it. I'm sure it's in here, yes, as we do this. What I'm seeing in a trend at the cemetery, which to me is a good trend, is people are wanting bigger stones. For whatever reason, glad they have the money, but it's okay, bigger stones. We kind of lock them into a certain size stone because of me digging over different stuff. You guys have graciously told me it's okay to approve bigger ones in the back row, like the Lego Man and a few other ones that are back row, because we don't have to move those. Right. So I'm okay. Well, cremation garden, in the cremation gardens, it's 24 inches high. They're limited on what we call tablet space. So this 3 that I designed, we set up in lots, but we set it up like almost like a normal lot. Grid system extended, instead of being 10 foot long, they're 5 foot. Okay, we're not going to pour the foundations. So like cremation garden now, you pay one price, your foundation's there. We're going to charge for foundations. They're the same size as a single lot, so they can follow single lot rules, and which gives them a bigger tablet. Make sense? They can still go small. This is changing max size. With that, I want to add is, I made a kind of a decision, and I want to get your blessing. I can always go backwards. I'll have to honor the 2. What I'm seeing is, I have families come out, and in a single lot, we restrict to 36 inches in a base. And the reason is, we pour a foot free on each side. That's your 5 feet. Okay? That's the way the board's had it for a long time. People, once again, are wanting longer bases and little big stones. And I had a gentleman, I had one, I denied one. I had another gentleman come in and said, we really want a 48-inch base. And both of them did this to me. He goes, is there a lot next to it? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I'll buy it. My mind is, I can't make land.
Right.
Okay, I can't. So we're going to sell 10 feet wide, 10 feet long, and there's going to be 2 ashes in that thing that will hold 10 people. That's it.
Yeah.
So the one lot's not going to be used. Okay, so why not make them sign a waiver? Hey, you're only going to have 6 inches of concrete instead of a foot. As long as you can live with that, we're okay. So I went ahead and he signed it and we did it. And I called the other one back and they had already settled on a 36 and they were okay. Because what happens is in our rules, it's a 36 base and a 36 top. Nobody will do that. They don't want their base and their top to be the same, so they have to go 30. By doing this 48, I didn't have to change the top because they'll go 36.
Gotcha.
And that gives them more tablet space for what they did. Didn't change the height. Okay, so you understand, I just went to longer base because we're giving up land.
Yeah.
I've had 2 or 3 of them say, well, I'll just buy a lot next to it. And I just, the money we're putting in this new road and keep, you know what I mean? It's just, it's like, am I gonna run out? Not in my lifetime, but some, you are. And why for 2 people?
Yeah.
I cringe, I'm not gonna lie, I cringe on the ones that come in and they have that right, as I have families that come in and buy 4 lots. Mom and dad are in the middle and they don't want anybody buried by the side of them. And I cringe doing it, but you have that right to do.
Right.
It's just like, you know, that's land. So I think in this cremation garden, I think it'll go, in fact, I think we've already sold the first one. Also, we raised the price.
Okay.
It was resident before was $150, I believe we went to $200, and then non-residents $250. Plus, for an income reason, foundations will make money off the foundation also on that deal. But they will get a bigger stone, and they're allowed to put 3 in those spaces. They're big enough that if they would happen to go vaults, I can get 3 vaults in that space, in that 3-foot space, allowing 2 foot. The only thing different, I doubt if anything will come up, we always go by the size of the base, determines the width, also the length. The width can go 14 to 24. They're all gonna be 24 regardless. I'm not gonna charge them for that, but that way it'll make straight rows. My guys aren't mowing. We're making them wide enough that the walk, to stand up, you can go through them, so they can go straight down and not do this.
Gotcha.
Get it down, okay? So I hope you're okay with that. If we have any problems, I need to know, because I kinda did that on my own, both those.
With regards to the waiver, I mean, is that something that Scott needs to put eyes on?
Waiver as far as.
You said you had somebody sign a waiver about.
No. This is just, I'm gonna call it a gentleman's agreement.
Okay.
Basically, what happens is, and I don't hear it a lot now, is when I started, how come he has more concrete than I have?
Sure.
And it's to put knickknacks and stuff on. And like in cremation 1 and 2, we give them the parameters that they have to leave 3 inches on the side. This is max, okay? We don't dictate size of stones. So when we give them the rules, I say, this is max, you don't have to do this, you just can't go over this. So cremation, what they want to do, because of tablet space, they'll go as big as they can, and now they can't put a flower pot. They're coming to me, they're like, no room. I didn't choose the length of your stone, I just said you had to have 3-inch minimum.
Right.
You know, that was your choice, which they buy a lot of slants, and it's hard to put a base on a slant and all that good stuff. So this will conquer a lot of that in there, and with him, he's like, what'll happen is, he'll go 48, 36, he'll have room for bases, he's okay. So as long, I just have it so if they come back and I'll say, no, you said it was okay, we just document, and we put it in our computer also, in their lots, so they know anytime we have. So I don't think he needs to on this one at all. If I come up with an issue, I will. We're gonna change it in our rules, we have already made new rules for that. I have to change my general rules also, and that's okay. And if we have an issue, then of course I'll bring it to Scott. So, let's see where I'm at, I'm sorry.
2.
So that created in that first thing, so you know, cremation 3 we call it, I think created like 32 lots. So that should get us through this year, hopefully a little bit into next year until I can design, or get the other one started. And I'm still kicking that around because I like this bigger stone, so I'm gonna go in and redraw. And I may not put the concrete in, I may do the same thing, which would save us some money. I may put some circle concrete in and do some things. So that'll give me the winter to relook at that and redraw, and I can bring it back to you guys. Any questions on that? Okay, number 2 is the 4th foundation. We poured, I believe, 24, which brings us up to 99. What you don't see in that is we have 8 frames, if you want to call it, for government foundations. And we poured another 8. We usually keep almost about 24 on hand. You never know when you're going to get those. So these are the governments that the military gives to them, the bronze, and we mount them on 4-inch concrete. So we poured another 8 of those also, just so you know. So, and we're up, like I say, to 99. Front gate, we talked about a little bit before. As you're looking at it, the right side would not shut. Ended up being a board in there they had to repair, so we're up and running on that one. I guess down was the 20 lots that were sold was to a lady individual that wants it to honor her husband and some other family. She liked where cremation 4 was going to be, but I knew the stone was going to go out of the parameters of what we have set, and really kind of defeated what I was doing. I had a couple areas up by the office where I had flower beds. Both of them are basically 54 by 27. I didn't know what I was going to do. There's nobody there. And this worked out perfect for her and her lots. So she was willing to pay for the 20 lots. So that's what we did on that stuff. And there'll be more later because there will be I'm sure a bigger stone, and she's talking some landscaping that I will bring in front of you guys for approval and to look at down the road. In this, I don't think it's in any of this, I want you to understand, because you should. 3 weeks ago, we buried a gentleman. They called, they said he had a lot. I'm sorry, I don't like to give names just because of sensitivity. I put him where a stone was. They don't believe that was his lot. The stone, he was a single man. The stone, the middle initial was wrong, and the birth date was correct, but the month was off a month. So we were doing 2 funerals there. They asked me, I said, it's the only gentleman's name we had in the database. I was running another one, we put him in. Everybody was okay. At 4 o'clock that evening, they weren't okay. So through some lengthy meetings with the sister, they bought a lot, and we moved him on Saturday. From one end to the other. We do it very graciously. I bring in the vault company. I'm not pointing fingers. I don't know if we did. I don't know if we didn't. The funeral director and I have an arrangement. If they find out he was kind of pushing, if that really is his spot, he will pay to have him moved back. That costs me, besides labor, $750 to have Akron move that over there. But I wanted to make you aware of it. I took care of it. It's done. He's was done very well. He was actually moved in 10 minutes. We had him open, had the other one dug. They came for another funeral. We picked him up, put him in, and moved him. So I just took the hit. I'm not going to argue. I mean, the stone was incorrect. There's a lot of factors that could do this. It's just easier to get it done. And she was not from here and wanted to head back and stayed an extra week. And so she was gracious enough to buy the lot. And I just took the other hit. So just so you know, that's up there. There's going to be no issue, no problem, but I just like to let you know some of the stuff. We will be probably 2-3 weeks doing a disinterment. I have a gentleman that buried his first wife in a section. He is remarried, and he wants to bring them all together. So we're going to move her. They're going through paperwork right now in the state. So that's stuff I do, just so you understand that some of the stuff we do. So you understand is I make it open to the family. So if they want to be there, they can. If not, then we take care. We'll take care of it anyway. But he doesn't know for sure if he wants to be there or not, and I get it. But so we will do it with Akron's help. He'll pay for all that. But first is getting the permit from the state. So you understand that a little bit. I don't want to go too long. When I first started, the state said if you're inside those gates, you don't have to file for permits. I moved quite a few the first 2 years that were in the wrong spot. We did it with Akron. I paid to have them moved, whatever, got them in the correct spot. Here a few years ago, down south, it was a mom and dad that got divorced, remarried, I believe. I don't know if it's a divorce. Yeah, anyway, there's 2 families. There's a stepmom and whatever. The power of attorney was left to one girl with the dad. She moved the stepmom because she didn't want her where she was at. She did totally legal. She bought him a lot. She moved the stone. She did everything correct. So there was this lawsuit, and the attorney couldn't find anything wrong, except, remember I told you the state said it was okay? He went looking at the state statute, and they never changed the law. So now, basically, if we move 5 feet, we have to get paperwork. So we're going to be moving a little more than 5 feet on this one, but I said, you need to go to your funeral home, which what that takes is the funeral director, his license, State Board of Health, send us paperwork, and then we have transmittal papers to do it. So that's what we're waiting on now, just so you know if anybody asks how that's done.
How long does that take?
It's all up to State Board of Health.
Okay.
Normally two weeks max, sometimes a little quicker.
Okay.
I did a disinterment of a baby, and they were on it real quick. I did it in less than a week. So, and we went to Wabash. So, yeah, it's totally in their hands how busy they are.
Sure.
People don't realize the money's nice, and yeah, the city likes the money, but that provisional and everything. I have 18,300 guests currently, and I have provisionals or death certificates and fireproof for every one of them. I have to have that, so they know where they're at. So, anyway, just wanted to throw that couple of extra things to you, but what we do.
Yeah.
Also, Councilman Mike Conderas and Councilwoman Cindy Dobbins came out today and talked to me about budget and some other stuff, just what was going on. It was very nice and this morning, and just wanted to go over a couple of things, and all worked out well. Yeah, they really didn't have any issues. It was more talking about new stuff out there. We reduced my budget. It's not, or we didn't go up, basically, so. It's nice that they came out. Jerry's been out many times. It's just nice when they come out and look and see what you're doing and go through stuff, so. Mr. President's not here, but I guess if we have any questions, I know I throw a lot at you.
I just had two quick questions. You mentioned that for the trees, that an additional 16,000 was
Is out,
allocated.
yeah, in next year, in 2021 budget.
Okay.
That is, went in front of the council a week ago?
Yeah.
So it won't, that budget won't be approved till probably, what, November, Jerry, somewhere around there?
Okay,
Probably right in there.
Yeah, so it is currently in my budget for approval.
for next year.
Yeah, I had 16 this year, already
Okay.
approved. And
Okay.
we're going through that. There's just with the climbing, there's more trees to climb.
Okay.
It's about roughly, he says, for him to climb, it's about $180 a tree, if that gives you a hint how many
Okay.
trees need to be addressed. Yeah, so, yeah, and this guy has no fear. These trees are 80, 90 feet tall. So
Okay.
he climbs, yeah, so it's set for next. That'd be up to the board if they decide to take it out or make me do a cut or not.
Okay.
I'm sorry, before we say out of here, you also need to know, Joe came to us and asked for a line 2 cut. I don't know if you understand the line 1, line 2 cut. Line 1's usually at the beginning of the year when the state says, we ain't gonna give you all the money, and Jerry won't pay for it, so we have to do a line 1 cut. Line 2 cut is designed because we're doing our budgets in July for next year, and you do a lot of this. So if you have extra money, it helps the circuit breaker, am I correct, tax rate, whatever you want to say. Anyway, this year there's some hint out, we're going to be out. This year we never had to do a line 1 cut because of where we're at. We need to do a line 2 cut, and a lot of it was health insurance, but I cut $82,000 out of the budget, out of our budget and gave back, or for approval to give back. You guys will discuss that and do that, but hey,
Sorry, so of the budget that we approved last month,
no, of the budget you approved last year.
oh,
The one I'm currently working on, line 2 is the one current to date.
Okay,
So line 1 is also current to date, but done at the first.
gotcha.
So like this budget that Jerry and them are working on, if they decide we're gonna be shortfall or tax, and Joe will come and say, look, boys, find this money, then we'll go through and try to cut our budget. You know,
Gotcha.
remember, we did in July, we'll try to cut back, and you do a lot of research, because you can't get it back, but you try to work to do that cut to meet their expectations of what they need.
Makes sense.
And we didn't have to because of some, I don't know what it was, but we just didn't have to do it. So he knew there was a lot of insurance money sitting there. So you understand, like I said, we can't go up. So our insurance is wonderful, I believe, I'm just gonna say that on record, but we figure the highest, 15%. Last year it went up, what, Jerry, 1? I think.
Oh, it didn't go up very much.
Yeah, it was very little, it was like 1%.
Yeah.
So we figure high, and then there's that cut, because we don't know, at the time we're doing all this, we don't know what that's gonna be. Joe sits on that board, but they just, because it's all this other stuff. So we've been doing, it's based off of how many health problems you have, different stuff or whatever. So we did not go up very, so there was quite a bit there. You're gonna see, you'll hear talk about it, and the news will, if I did that much, I'm sure there'll be from the bigger boys quite a bit.
Okay.
But we're trying to cut, so you'll start hearing about that. But I just want to tell you, I was able, now, so you understand, it sounds like a lot, but insurance was 65,000. Okay, so the rest of it I came up with, I had some extra in my, I call it my communication fund, which is the internet, stuff like that, and MetroNet was nuts to begin with, huh? Right? Yeah, because it would jump up and down and move, it's kind of stable now, so we were able to cut some. And
Okay.
so I just wanted to know that'll come out for it's in their hands for approval, and it's in Joe's hands now, and Lynn's are at the moment. And I double checked, which is really nice, and so do they over here, which helps me to make sure I'm not doing something I shouldn't be. So, anyway, you know, yeah, nothing like getting in December and going, dang, you know, it is. I'm just saying, I mean, I take it very personal when I
Sure,
try.
sure.
Lots of moving parts.
Yeah, so that's all I have, I guess. Any more, you said you had 2, I'm sorry.
And you had mentioned that some of the prices went up from 150 to.
Yeah, cremation, we have a cremation 1 and 2, and we've had that price set, I believe, since 2002.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. This new cremation garden, because we're setting it up different, we have raised the price $50.
Okay, so it's went from $150 to $200.
And that's for, now, not to confuse anymore, that's resident, not
And
non-resident,
non-resident
it's
is
$250. Yeah.
Okay,
Basically, if you pay city taxes, you get the lower price,
okay,
is how that works. A business, a house, whatever, but if you have something in the city, you're paying city taxes, you get the lower rates. I will say that before we say yay, because I know you want to all get out of here. That is going to be looked at, but probably after the COVID stops. Or we get back on our feet a little bit. It's about time to present that in front of the mayor for his approval, which will give us a little more money. We were down in COVID. Lynn had called me, but she wasn't thinking, is we weren't taking lot sales, just in case. The only lot sales I would do is if you had to. That's opened up. We had 24 lot sales this month, and as of today, I've already had 21. Of course, one was
20 of them, right. Yeah, that's two, so it's 2 sales.
Yeah, 2 sales, yeah, yeah. Leanne sold the 1, I sold the 20. So just, you know, we're getting commission, I just want to make sure.
Well, yeah,
And I'm sorry to keep talking, so do I have a motion to get out of here?
so moved.
Second.
Gara?
October the 1st.
Yes, yes.
See you then.
Crazy.
Jackie, nice to see you. I'll make sure I get you my phone number before I go. And then if you have any questions or want to come out and let me take you on a tour, see how things work.
Thanks for joining
I'll
us,
try to
Jackie.
do that. I'll eat my chips.
I put 6 bags together. If anybody else wants to try these chips I was raving about last month.
Yeah, Jackie, if you get a chance to go out there, he'll give you